Depending on the mood that I'm in, I might holler. Yeah. I love seeing and I like dollars.
So it's around 1998 and the LOX have made a name for themselves by being affiliated with Bad Boy Records. They dropped their debut album Money, Power and Respect in that year. And then they start doing shows to promote the album. So after doing a couple of shows, the group flies down to New York, and when they get there, they get word from Jay-Z. And Jay's like, yo, what are you guys doing right now? Come to the studio, right? Now the guys are fresh off the plane, they're tired, they've got their luggage with them, and the only thing they want to do right now is relax and go to their accommodation. So they're like, can't we do this another time? We're tired, we're fresh off the plane, and all we want to do is unpack and head to our accommodation, right? But Jay insists that the LOX head to the studio, luggage and all, and that's exactly what happens. The LOX show up at the studio, and they find out that Jay is recording an album, which would eventually turn out to be Volume 2, Hard Knock Life.
On the corners bopping, for driving some of the hottest cars New Yorkers ever seen, for dropping some of the hottest verses rappers ever heard.
So they're in the studio together, the LOX, Jay's in there, and Jay goes, don't you guys want to hop on this song? And the Reservoir Dogs beat gets pulled up. So the LOX go, of course, yes, we'll do the song. And they get to recording their verses. And remember that at this point they're still ticked off that Jay summoned them to the studio. So when Styles P gets to recording his verse, he does something wild. He disses Jay on his own track.
I don't care about your album and whenever it drops. I don't care about your past. If I did, I would've asked.
Right, so when he gets out of the booth, Jay's like, I know those lines were directed at me, but I'm gonna let it slide in the name of friendly competition. But I don't think Jay was able to let that go, and you're about to find out why I think this way. So it's around the year 2000s and Jadakiss is becoming the breakout artist from the LOX. With every song he does, his popularity increases and other rappers are starting to notice, especially Jay-Z. So in that year, Jadakiss does a song with Maya called Best of Me. You know, it takes a little while to gain some hype and traction, but after a while, people start going, yo, this song is hot, right? And you know how Jay-Z is, right? It's the same thing Drake does to this day. Whenever a song starts getting hot, that's when he will jump on it and essentially feed off the song's momentum. And the thing is, because people may not know the original song, and because Jay is the bigger artist when he hops on the song, the track essentially becomes his. Now Jay did the same thing to Jadakiss, because let's face it, he knew that Jadakiss was competition, and I'll even go as far as to say that lyrically, Jadakiss is better than Jay. And I think Jay knew that at the time. So Jay hops on the Best of Me song, it blows up even further, and now Jay has a one-up over his competition. But this wouldn't be the first time that Jay would pull this move. So around this time, R. Kelly was working on an album. He hears that Jadakiss is blowing up, so he and Jada get together and work on a song called Fiesta. So the song comes out, people are bootlegging it, and it starts to gain a lot of momentum in the streets. Now I'm sure you see where I'm going with this, right? Jay hears this song and he's like, damn, I need to hop on this. So Jay makes a remix to the song without Jadakiss knowing about it. The song comes out and Jada only gets to find out in that moment that he was replaced by Jay.
Yes, ma, that's Fiesta. Remix with the homie from the Midwest side.
So eventually diss tracks start coming out, Styles P gets involved, and so does Beanie Sigel, and this turns into an all-out rap war between the two factions. However, an interesting thing to note is that Jay doesn't really get involved in this beef. He stays far away from Jadakiss and puts Beanie Sigel in front of him because I think he knew that deep down, Jada was the better lyricist and would become a problem if handled directly. So essentially, Jay chose to be smart and not engage Jada. Now around 2005, Jay hosts a concert called I Declare War. Now the title of the concert has people going, I think Jay's about to go in on Nas and all his enemies, right? But the opposite thing happens. Jay brings out Nas and publicly squashes their beef. But not only that, he brings out the LOX and Jadakiss, and this lets the world know that their beef is over as well.
Coming together, I seen Puff perform with the LOX. T.I. perform with Jeezy. The return of Beanie Siegel. So I just said, fuck it, you know what I'm saying? It's bigger than I Declare War. It's like the motherfucking president presenting the United Nations. So you know what I did? You know what I did for y'all, for hip-hop? I said, fuck that shit. Let's go, Esco.
But then something unexpected happens. Around the year 2007, Jadakiss signs a deal with Roc-A-Fella, his former enemy's label.
While we was beefing, nothing was changing about. I was still riding around knocking Siegel and Hov.
Wow.
All the songs that I played from them before, all they new shit that was dope, even the shits they was dissing us. Because you gotta do your homework and you wanna listen, and you a fan, they still who they are, and they still got that skill set.
Now this move had many people going like, what? Why are you signing to Roc-A-Fella now, right? Roc-A-Fella is not the label it used to be. Now to me, Roc-A-Fella has two eras. There's Roc-A-Fella with Dame Dash, and there's Roc-A-Fella without Dame Dash. Now when Dame Dash was part of Roc-A-Fella, and Jay and Biggs, and all of them were getting along, Roc-A-Fella was a beast, and plenty of artists wanted to be signed to the label. With Dame Dash and Roc-A-Fella, the label had Jay, Memphis Bleek, Beanie Siegel, Kanye, Cameron, The Diplomats, DJ Clue, Freeway, Young Guns, State Property, and these are just the names I can think of right now. But after Dame Dash left the label, it only had Jay, Memphis Bleek, Kanye, and Jadakiss. And Jadakiss only joined around 2007. So essentially Roc-A-Fella was a ghost town when Jadakiss joined the label. So Jada signs around 2007. He then gets to working on his new album, and it comes out about 2 years later in the form of The Last Kiss.
Yo, they must got a death wish.
Now commercially, the album does reasonably well. It debuts at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and sells about 134,000 copies in the first week. The album has singles like Be My Side, Can't Stop Me, Death Wish, and Who's Real. And if you listen to the album, you can clearly tell that Jadakiss was trying to feature more R&B in his music and was leaning towards a slightly softer sound. Interestingly enough, when this album comes out, thanks to the title, has many people thinking that Jada is about to retire from rap. Some people asked me if this was my last album. Nah, it's just the first album was Kiss the Game Goodbye, the second album was The Kiss of Death. So this one is The Last Kiss. It's the closing of a trilogy. This is the last time the word Kiss is going to be in any of my album titles. So yeah, Jada dropped the album on Roc-A-Fella. As I mentioned earlier, it does reasonably well, but then the unexpected happens. In 2010, just a couple of years after signing to Roc-A-Fella, and now fed up, Jadakiss leaves the label and joins up with Rough Riders. So at this point, people are going, wait, what's going on now? You signed to Jay, and this is after you guys had beef, and now you're leaving? Like, what happened? Well, it turns out that Jada didn't like the way his album was handled. I mean, if you think about it, Jadakiss signed to the label around 2007, and his album only came out years later after multiple pushbacks. So Jada was not getting the same treatment that he was used to. Additionally, by the late 2000s, Jadakiss was not as hot as he used to be in the early 2000s. I mean, back then everybody was looking to sign Jada, but as time passed, there was a new sound coming in, Wayne was taking over, and by the time Jada dropped his album in 2010, Hip-hop was completely different and there were new players in the game. Now after leaving Roc-A-Fella around 2010, Jadakiss was only able to drop an album about 5 years later in the form of Top 5 Dead or Alive.
You belong in the parade, need to get you afloat. Smack your man with the gauge, we can get to your folks.
Now for someone who has been in the game since the 90s, this album was very impressive. Jadakiss ditched the R&B features for more rap features, and it actually sounds like a project that's authentic to him. Additionally, it sold about 60,000 copies in the first week, proving that Jadakiss's fan base is going to be with him for decades. So in essence, Jadakiss joined Roc-A-Fella at the wrong time. I mean, a lot of people view Jay-Z as the business mind behind Roc-A-Fella, but Dame and Biggs were very instrumental in Roc-A-Fella's starting stages. And let's face it, if you're a rapper with a business, you can't wear every hat in your business. You can't do the PR, then write the raps, then make the beats, then do this, and then do that, right? Because all of this will take you away from your art. So Dame and Biggs were able to handle a lot of Roc-A-Fella's responsibilities, and without them, the people that built their business from the ground up, Roc-A-Fella was doomed to fail eventually. At the same time, when I think of Roc-A-Fella, for some reason I can't picture Jadakiss being in the camp. I don't know what it is, but Jadakiss does not fit the mold of Roc-A-Fella. So even though we got a good album out of the whole thing, a part of me is really glad that situation did not work out, because Jadakiss is not Roc-A-Fella.
Roc-A-Fella?
Roc-A-Fella.
I'll go it.
The perception of why Roc-A-Fella ended is different. You're aware of this.
It's because Jay did what he did. He didn't want to pay $3. He made a move on his friends.
Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you guys think Jadakiss signing to Roc-A-Fella was a good move? Let me know down below. Also add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music. Till next time, peace.